Welcome to the Horror Story Show. Please sit back and enjoy the little short story I wrote called The Hospital.
The sunshine had never felt so good before. The warmth spreads through your body, leaving tingles in its wake. It's been too long, far too long. Decades too long. So much so, you must look like a vampire by now. In fact, if the sunlight hit you just now, you might expect to see yourself sparkling in the mirror. Finally, they set you free from behind those glaring white walls that had kept you captive for so long. There was no color except the faces of the nurses. Even then, they only had color from their light. Each one had a golden honey color to them that seemed unnatural. Their skin was no better. It was a deathly grayish pale. To add to it, whenever we touched, it felt as though they just came directly out of a freezer. Not even their hair had any color. It was a blinding white, like those white lines you see in the middle of the road. Yet the only person who seemed to have any physical color was the head nurse. They came in to check on me periodically. I looked forward to his visits because he had a rich bronze umber color to his skin, much like a piece of dark chocolate covered in caramel. His eyes were even more stunning in an unnatural sort of way. They had a deep crimson color to them that burned with an intense passion. His hair was a soft violet black. His hair wasn't long, it was long on top, with some fade to the side. Besides him, the only variation in this room was the dull gray ceiling. For that you were grateful, for the only joy felt in that wretched place was from staring at the ceiling, or from the head nurse's visits. Because of the hideous decision to make a place devoid of all color, time spent in this place felt like an eternity. Not to mention, the surrounding rooms outside your room weren't much better. In fact, the rest of the place was just as bleak as your room. Every space in that building was just this annoying shade of white, just like your room. Someone needed to rethink their color scheme. I know white is supposed to bring peace and serenity, but after years of just seeing white, it gets infuriating. Some color and variety would have been nice. A gentle, calming color scheme would do wonders for this place. At the very least, they could do some plants with some colored pots. Even a painting or two would have been welcome. Hell, I would take one simple window at this point. Yet, for some godforsaken reason, in that place, the designers did none of that. And they only put a minuscule amount of color in the common room, where brown wooden blocks were strewn everywhere in little neat piles. Only a few had been built into houses. There were even some of those squishy baby blocks. They only came in 3 colors though, which was green, blue, and red. Yet even this they did wrong, as these blocks looked like how the movies portray depressed people seeing the world. Every single piece of color was sickeningly muted. Truly the definition of a lifeless room. Despite this, they had the audacity to claim this room was dedicated to healing, and yet the only thing it did was drain all the life out of you. Probably to make up for the sheer lack of it in that place. It's for that reason you swore to yourself to never get so desperate as to go back, not to something so devoid of life. Not now that you can actually look outside and almost taste the colors. You will never go back to only seeing a fraction of the million different shades we can see as humans. You can't. You might actually go mad if you ever went back to that place. In fact, cursed be the day you're ever trapped in a mostly white room again. To make sure that happens, I will have to wait until I can get my feet under me. Right now, my government-assigned living quarters isn't much better than my little white room. The only good thing about it is that now I have a balcony. Here, I can see for miles. From this high up, I can see in the distance the waves gently lapping up to the shore, and I can see the seagulls fly overhead as they try to catch their dinner. Besides seeing the seagulls, another reason this apartment was okay for now is that it is west-facing. Now I can even see, for the first time in years, the sunset, which is something that many take for granted nowadays. Yet, I find an unimaginable joy just to simply bask in the brilliant yellows and oranges, intermixed with the cacophony of the animal life around me. I blink back tears just thinking about this experience even now. While I love the sunsets, my favorite time of day though is when the sea lions down by the shore are most active. For as a kid, I used to come down here with my parents. Once here, we'd watch them meander around and listen to the barks, growls, and grunts that came from these amazing creatures. I always enjoyed it the most during the late spring, when you got to watch the newborn pups figuring out how to be a sea lion. I also enjoyed counting how many pups had been born that day. Watching the sea lions as a kid later inspired me to work at a nearby aquarium. Once, I turned 18, where eventually I got to work with their sea lions. There I discovered the little pups were so soft. The coat of lanugo they have for the first 6 months is the softest thing you could even imagine. There was this one named Leo that I got to nurse and hold after his mother had abandoned him. And Leo was still a baby before I got locked up. He hadn't even molted yet. Leo's probably near the end of his lifespan by now, if he's even still alive. They only really live 25 to 30 years in captivity. Maybe I should go visit the aquarium and go find out if he's still there living his best life. Even so, the little guy probably doesn't even remember me. I've been gone longer than his long-term memories would allow for, since current studies show that their long-term memory is good for up to 10 years or more. Even still, it will be nice to see Leo. Maybe while I'm there I can apply for another job. Hopefully, I will be able to work with the sea lions again, and be able to assist with their feeding and general care. But you can't think about that now. You have to escape from this new layer of hell. You have to get yourself on your feet first before you can start thinking about living a peaceful life somewhere hidden in the hustle and bustle of California. Most importantly, you have to get away from them, who primarily don't believe your stories. They don't believe what you had to do was, indeed, actually a government-assigned job. They would rather see me rot in that prison for another 25 years so I can recover from what they call insanity. Insanity my ass. I'm as sane as I was back then as I am now. After all, how can you be crazy if you knew you were crazy? Besides, everyone is crazy in their own way after all. If more people held that sentiment, things would be different. Or maybe if more people thought he was real, they would understand. And didn't just think he is some character in a book I created a relationship with. It's not my fault the events of my life match up perfectly with this so-called dystopian book series they threw at me when they locked me up. Which is why I guess you're just gonna have to prove your innocence. And finally prove to the world you aren't crazy once and for all. All you need to do is find him again and show him to the world. How hard could that be? I'm coming for you, my love. Just you wait. I'll be with you soon.
Hey, so I really hope you guys liked the story. It was actually really fun to write it and then put it into audiobook type format like this. I was planning on making this a novel, but unfortunately I write short stories better than actual books, so I think I'll stick to writing short stories for now. Also, if you guys wish for more content like this, please leave a comment and a like below. It wouldn't hurt to hit that subscribe button while you're there too. I'd actually really appreciate it. This story is also over on my TikTok page by the same name.